Carrie is back, and I think I may be speaking for everyone that we're just a little bit excited to see her back. Are we honoring her with this look tonight? Tell me about this gorgeous.
I'm Sarah Jessica tonight.
Right.
I'm not able to occupy Carrie outside of Michael Patrick King and Samantha and Kelly's and everybody else's words.
Yeah.
No, tonight I'm just me. But more importantly, it's the work of Fernando and Laura at Oscar de la Renta, and it's a real thrill.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Fans have been clamoring for just about forever, asking for this, right? Every year, every movie. How did you know it was the time to put the Manolos back on and bring Carrie and the family back?
I don't know so much that we were looking at it as, clever or strategic timing. I think, when we decided to end the show, it was about where we are. Oh my God.
Beautiful.
Oh my God, you look gorgeous. Holy moly. Wow. Good luck
That's really
concentrating
amazing.
now.
I know.
It just felt like Michael and I started talking sort of in the early months of that spring lockdown and having conversations about what we were thinking about. And it became abundantly clear fairly quickly that this is what we were thinking about. But obviously that's a very easy theoretical. The actual practice, the endeavor is much more complicated. Of course, we had to reach out to Cynthia and Kristen and Chris and Willie and Mario and then talk about how that family would grow. So I think it was more so we were excited about figuring out, learning where they had been, who they were, how they had changed, how they had stayed the same, what their life looked like now, how had their families grown, how had their environment shrunk, frankly, or who were they post-pandemic and post a city that had suffered, where did that leave them, and how do big events affect people, and how mature are they, and how immature are they still, and that was really exciting to us, and obviously, people at this particular age, their lives don't end, they are pursuing on often new chapters and things that are very adventurous and very exciting and risky and interesting and filled with possibilities of disappointment and triumph, and all of it was there. And we had Michael Patrick King, and then eventually an extraordinary writing room and an extraordinary group of new people who were willing to join us.
The newcomers look incredible.
Karen Pittman.
How?
More in a minute. Sorry.
How was it welcoming this group into such a tight-knit, existing, legendary TV family?
Every time Michael and I talked about an idea for an actor, it seemed a big dream, and they all kept saying yes. And it was like the Matryoshka doll, the Russian doll where you just keep opening it, and it just kept happening. And that was hugely encouraging and speaks really, obviously, I think highly of Michael and his writing room that created stories that were exciting and worth their time. So being with them was a thrill. I mean, anytime you get to work, in my case, more so, I'm working more so with Sarita and Sada. It's heaven. It's heaven.
Was it heaven the minute you stepped back in that wardrobe room again?
That was heaven.
I was saying, speaking
of
heaven.
Molly and I prep started April 12th. No, prep started before that. Molly was in the room April 12th. My first fitting was May 12th. And I think my first fitting was like 4 or 5 hours. Back to the old, we immediately slipped back into the worst possible habits.
Old hat, right?
In a good way. Yeah, it was amazing. And I knew right away, Molly Rogers had been with us from the beginning. Danny had been with us through all of the movies. And I knew that we were in deft, skilled, and incredibly inspired hands once again.
We've seen some sneak peeks of where Carrie is fashion-wise now. We've got some pictures that are some of our most viral, right? That kind of broke my Instagram feed at least, and that I saw everywhere. How has Carrie's style evolved? Kind of how does this represent who she is?
I'm no good at answering that question.
Oh.
I think it's for every watch. I think you got to watch and see the stories that accompany the clothes.
Yeah.
I think it's not. They don't stand alone without a story. They have a foundation. So it's not for me to say how she's evolved or what it means. I think the clothes have always been part of the storytelling. They've been significant, not inconsequential, and sometimes purposefully inconsequential. But I can't take that wrapper away and describe it. It needs to be all of one.
That makes sense. Big and Carrie's relationship was something we followed and we loved for so long, and we love it.
So do I.
It's timeless. How are they? How are they doing? How will we find them?
They're good. I mean, they're incredibly happy. They're lucky. They're lucky. They stayed happy. I think in a period where a lot of women kind of revisit ideas about who they are and what they wanted, and what makes them happy, what is contentment, where is home. Carrie was fortunate after a very complicated, silly, foolish, grandly romantic relationship. It works, and so I think they're really lucky.
I can't wait to see them again. I read that you got your hands on basically most of the wardrobe from the original show.
It's not new to me because that's one thing that I've always had in my contract. I have everything that I've ever worn from every job.
That's quite the storage facility, I imagine.
Yeah, and it's foolish. It doesn't matter, but it's meaningful to me because that's a huge part of figuring somebody out. And when you walk into a fitting, for me, it's like learning an accent for somebody who is from Czechoslovakia. Like, you can't play the part if you haven't given that part of the person a huge amount of consideration. So I am, Sweeney Todd is given his knives back, right? And he says, I think something, I'm going to butcher the great Sondheim lyrics, but he basically says, at last I am complete again. I think when you walk out of a wardrobe department, especially with skilled designers, you feel, I am complete.
Do your daughters know it exists? Do they poach it?
It's not in our home.
Probably for the best.